friend of mine, who I'm out here in Chiang Mai, and sometimes, you know, you just never know how successful someone is. They're modest and they're quiet and they're just, you know, like a normal person. Natalie is extremely successful, and I was very surprised, and I feel privileged that she's willing to share some of that with us and how she did it. So, Natalie, thank you so much for coming.
Hey guys, thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction.
Welcome.
Yeah, and thank you previous presenters for such inspiring presentations. It was very interesting. The topic of my presentation is the wholesale. But first I wanted to introduce myself. Who the hell am I? So the size of Nat. I'm coming from Russia. And that's me. I used to be a professional karate fighter when I was a kid. I was a high academic achievement freak, so I got a lot of degrees. I hold a bachelor in law and 2 masters, also a management degree, and other certificates. I used to be a punk rock drummer for a little bit when I was a teenager. I was a tour guide for 1 year. I used to be a graphic designer during my first studies at the university. Commercial lawyer for 2 years. Was aiming for Big Four. Was on the way to the corporate slavery. Thought that that's the way to be successful, to earn a lot. But then at the end of the day, I just understood that I don't want that money. It doesn't make me happy. Used to be a hype broker with my brother. Mediator. It's like an alternative dispute resolution. Manager, sales, marketing, and project manager. That's the transition when I went from the commercial lawyer to nowadays a spiritual hooligan throughout the whole life. The artist, entrepreneur, etc. And I'm just Nat. So, the stuff actually I'm interested more about telling you, my businesses. I started wholesale business last year in May. I started first with timber. Timber Pacifica is my first baby. When I lived in Fiji, was working as a manager. I just happened to meet a supplier, and we just started talking. I first offered my marketing office, marketing advice, etc. And then he just offered me, why don't you go to Russia and sell all this stuff? And I said to myself, hell yeah, man, why not? Right? So that's how the journey started. But to get it in timber, it's a different story, and it's quite a journey. So while working on Timber Pacifica, I thought to myself, I need something like easier, something faster. And I was always thinking, like, what can I do? Like, what people need, and fast, right? And I got into sugar business. So sugar seemed to be like an answer, you know? Everybody needs sugar. Yeah, every day. So the sugar journey started last August, and it's still going on, and it's also got an interesting story, because now all you know the situation in Russia, right? It's not very good, and we all are here in Asia, and Asia has infinite opportunities. You know, everywhere you look, there is stuff, and also sugar. So I got now my supplier in Cambodia for sugar. My other project, it's a relatively new project. It's a high-end furniture from South America. Also quite a different story. So, well, you might be thinking, wholesale? How much is it? How much makes the wholesale, right? My first order was 20 tons. That's this truck. And I was happy as like, wow, I got 20 tons order. But believe me, guys, it's so small. From these 20 tons, you get like, you roughly get your expenses like for telephone or internet. And then the orders, then you keep going, and you get your first 300 tons. And then you, wow, thinking, that's like a railway wagon, right? And it's just one, but you want them several at least, like, right? And it's easy, guys. You just don't limit yourself, you know? The competition is for small numbers, not for big numbers. And you don't need that much of the railway wagons or trucks, like, to get sustainable and to prove yourself on the market. And then you get 5,000 tons. Now we start talking. That's the order I get, like, from Cambodia, because they don't ship. Otherwise, like, less than 5,000 tons, they wouldn't talk with you. So you want to get to those numbers. Why would you do that? Why, like, big dudes in black suits don't do that, right? Why would, like, a small guy from the street or small girl from the street or whoever, like, go into this business? Why not? Why not if you can offer, if you find the supplier faster, if you can provide better service, if you can provide everything at the high level, right? Why not? Then they will be listening to you, they will be running after you. Then not even suppliers will be running after you. Then you don't need to even hire your team, because all the other guys like yourself who just start will be running after you, contacting from your pages to, like, hey, can I work with you? I have, like, a couple clients. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah? But how? Action plan. The first, find a niche, find the product. That's what you're probably asking to yourself. What could I sell? I mean, and it's a question that it's really easy to answer, because when you start to analyze what's around you, who is around you, like, what circles are you into, like, then you start Google. Everybody knows keywords, right? You make a list of 50 things that's around you, like chairs, wood, whatever else, right? Light bulbs, everything is needed. I mean, probably not on the everyday basis, but somebody out there needs it. So you make the list of 50 things and you start analyzing them. Like, how many searches out there? Like, you need at least 2,500 a month. Like, you just look that there is a demand for these things. Look for your maybe competitors. If there's a competitors, then definitely working. Then you look for sure if it's like the legality of things. If you need some sort of certificates, any licenses. It's very hard to get, for example, into alcohol. Or if, for example, there are some sugar guys who don't even have certificates, but they have their warehouse. So you gotta look into those things when you decide for your concrete niches. Then transportation is another thing. You want things happen faster, right? And less complicated. So you look, well, how difficult is it to transport? If it's, for example, milk product, it's going to be complicated, for example, to ship from New Zealand to Europe, because it might get, like, if it's too long or if transportation is not proper, it might get bad. Like, so you might look into those kind of things. Then another thing that you might want to look into is, like, what you're passionate about. Back to the first presentation we heard about, yeah? Maybe there are some products you're really passionate about and they might be really successful. You never know, just give it a try. So the second point is, more, who wants it, right? You gotta test the market. How to do that? Well, first you look at your competitors. You look at all the classifieds boards, all the magazines. You know, depends the niche you're going into. There might be like old school marketing tools like magazine, newspapers, yellow pages, whatever. For my timber thing, I started without even website. I had pictures on my Dropbox. With sugar thing, I just posted classifieds, and then I just got the landing page. So it's really easy. And once you post it out there, like a simple ad, which I explain later, how to build a simple ad. Believe me, if you pay just a little amount for Google AdWords, you will get phone calls. If it's a more complicated niche, like for example timber or high-end furniture, probably you need to go out there and create a demand. You probably might need to call some guys you want to sell to, right? So the difference between B2B ads from B2C ads. What I like about wholesale business is because it's all right. B2B is a lot simpler than B2C. B2B guys are not that fussy. They're not looking after small details. They need dry material. Just what's the benefit? What's the logistics and the facts? So if you put it into a simple ad, it's just a little ad. It's just without even any descriptions, how awesome it is, and all the you need for the consumer, with all the beautiful pictures. They don't need it, believe me. They just need simple effects because they're busy. And if you catch with your effect, you got a good price out there. You got your certificate. You got, yeah, I offer transportation, and they are yours. Third one. Suppliers. How to actually really get a supplier? There is no magic button to that. Sometimes it happens by an accident. Sometimes you really have to look. You gotta call them. Some of them, they don't want to even talk to you, who you are. But if you're persistent enough, if you tested your niche, you know it's working, you got your first customers for big orders, and you just keep sending it off. I was persistent with my sugar suppliers like crazy. I was bombarding them that I have clients. I want a sugar now. And then their lawyer just sent me a template of the agreement. And also the thing, very often when you start talking legal terms, they don't want to talk to you. Like, they're getting afraid, or it's an unknown language to them. It depends on the niche, of course. So you just call to them and you say, yeah, hey, I look here, I got here like five clients. They want sugar as soon as possible, and they're waiting here to sign 3-year contract, right? And then they start thinking, yeah, man, probably give it a try, and they give you a try, believe me. So, but you gotta be really persistent with that. There's always a bigger fish. What do I mean by that? There's always a bigger client waiting for you there. You just gotta find it, and they want you. And how do you present yourself to the bigger fish? I don't have an established company for sugar yet. I have registered for timber. And you just say, yeah, I'm a sales manager. And then they look at you differently. And then when you get a deal with your supplier, suppliers look at you different, and you get a different percentage. You get bigger deals, you get bigger margin, you get bigger markups, because that's now real. Real deal. That's how it happened. You might also look, when you choose your niche, what's the circle to make a deal? So actually, why did I went? It's not advisable to jump from a niche to niche. I often hear, and I'm also not advised. But with timber things, the cycle of a deal is very long. And if you want a quick cash injection, you just might want to look into what's around you, what kind of niches here. In Thailand, well, in Thailand it's pretty difficult, Cambodia, or difficult but possible though. You might want to look what's around in this region. What can you do fast? For sugar, it took me 3 weeks, the whole circle, to organize things, and I started to make my profit within 2 months. With timber, it took me around 4 or 5 months for my first deal, because the circle is so long. So you might want to look for quick terms, depends on what stage are you in, depends what are you ready to invest as well. And then you have different paths. For example, if you invested all this time, all this money, but you're not really passionate about your product, why not to sell it? Ring? If you're really passionate and like it, you pursue it, you build like your own brand, like Jordan was talking about. There is no competition. You build your own thing. And then in a couple of years, when you got like rich enough to pursue your other passions, you might look into other things, right? Or you choose another path. That's always the choice. Wait, what? That easy? No, of course not. This is the way I did it. There are other ways of doing it, of course. But that's the working way. And this is just the beginning. We are not touching the legal surface here. We are not touching like building our marketing and online presence online. We are not talking about like bigger and massive things. But those things I said before, those things might get you started. And you might get your first profit on just the broker agreement with your supplier. And go on and on and on. Just keep calm and be persistent. Just do your things. Just believe in yourself and believe in your product. Believe in your supplier. Believe in your clients. Believe in everybody. If you do it, just do it. Thank you, guys.
Wow. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. Who wants to go first?
I just want to know, like, how much money did you start off with and injecting into your business to get your quality? Whether did you kind of line up to your clients first, and then go to Cambodia, like, hey, all these people give me the sugar?
So the question is she buying 300 tons of sugar first, or is she selling it first? How much money are you spending? Like, are you dropshipping the sugar, or are you importing it?
It's a sort of a dropshipping model. Yeah, I don't spend my money on that stuff yet, but potentially. But I started without any investment. I invested only in my mobile phone, internet, and this is it. And copywriting is a big thing. Yeah.
So then I'm curious, because I hear all these stories about drop shipping and these big numbers. What's the profit margin? Because earning $1 million and having 1 percentage point of profit doesn't make that much sense for me. So what's the profit margin?
It depends on the product. With the timber thing, I have big profit margin. It's like we do from 15 to 25 markup, plus from the supplier the margin. With sugar is less because sugar is more expensive, and it's a difficult product and it's very competitive. That's why you want to have like at least 5,000 tons. Yeah.
And what sort of stuff do you yourself? Once again, what sort of tools do you have?
I started initially with my brother, and we did everything ourselves. Because here the model is you don't need so many people. I outsourced like my copywriting and stuff and websites, classifieds and Google Ads. You just pay money out there and everybody calls you. And yeah, now when I'm expanding, I'm having a team.
One or two last questions? Back? Who are you selling the sugar to?
Initially it was just Russian market. Yeah. And it still is. No, I didn't know anybody, no.
All right. Natalie, thank you so much.